It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, May 30th, 2017. Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of OR News, where we bring you today's top stories, translated into English every weeknight. The Central Election Commission drew a ballot today to determine the political party's order in the voting paper for the June 25th elections. Based on the ballot, the Socialist Movement for Integration will be listed as the first party in the voting paper. The Socialist Party will be listed as the second party in the voting paper, while the Democratic Party will be listed as the sixth in the voting paper. 18 political parties have registered for the parliamentary elections. The Republican Party will be listed as the fifth. Challenge for Albania Party will be listed as fourth. The New Democratic Spirit Party will be listed as the 11th. The Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity will be listed as 13th. The Social Democratic Party will be listed as the 9th, and the Dibra Party will be listed as the 18th in the voting paper. Today, the Democratic Party submitted its final candidates list for the June 25th parliamentary elections. Unlike the list of May 26th, the Democratic Party listed 194 candidates in its list, putting 50 candidates for Tirana when only 34 are needed. After postponing the deadline for the registration of the final list twice, the Democratic Party not only completed its primary list, which had 140 candidates, adding more candidates in, but the DP also changed some candidates, filling the vacant places left by the candidates who withdrew. Despite its efforts to correct the candidates list, the Democratic Party did not make it to include as many women in the list as the Electoral Code requires. For this reason, the Central Election Commission fined the Democratic Party following the Electoral Code. The Democratic Party has not respected the gender quota for 5 cities, including less women candidates than is required in the Electoral Code. In this way, as the Electoral Code predicts, the Democratic Party was fined with 5 million lek, 1 million lek for each of the 5 cities. During a meeting with farmers in Dibra, the Prime Minister said that politicizing the public administration is a problem that has not been solved for more than 2 decades, declaring, "The public administration is not changing each time the government is changed. It is part of the machinery. People vote for the driver and the team that leads the machinery. We need your vote for the Socialist Party. I want to invite the Socialists and the Democrats to vote for the Socialist Party." The Prime Minister and Chairman of the Socialist Party asked the citizens to vote for the Socialist Party, emphasizing that co-governance has been an obstacle in the past to building a state. "Your vote for the Socialist Party is needed so that we can govern alone. You should only see your interest. Your vote is for hiring people. If the Socialist Party will govern alone, without having other parties in its lap, we will arrive faster where we want," said Mr. Rama. The Prime Minister also commented on the agreement with the Democratic Party, declaring that the deal was reached as Albania is above the party's interests. The Democratic Party chairman, Basha, opened the electoral campaign in Berat today, where he accused Prime Minister Rama of plunging the country into poverty. According to the DP chairman, the Prime Minister is an irresponsible person who does not like the reality and paints in his office at a time when the country suffers, stating, "The opposition is ununited under the Democratic Party's logo like never before in 27 years. Our dreams and hopes are taken hostage by a group of corrupt politicians. This has caused distrust among people. The government has not kept its promises. What has Rama done for Berat in these 4 years? The first duty of a Prime Minister is economy. Have you ever heard him speaking of economy during these campaign days? He is irresponsible." The DP chairman promises as the future Prime Minister he will focus on the development of economy, on opening jobs, reducing taxes, and investing in agriculture and education. The DP chairman pledged he will be the Prime Minister of the people. The DP chairman said that the country's economy is weak, and according to him, the change would start with the development of citizens' well-beings. Meanwhile, the first candidates in the Democratic Party's list for Berat, the Democrat MP Edward Halimi, denounced the inclusion of the public administration in elections. Mr. Halimi accused the Socialist Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration of making efforts to steal people's votes. The Socialist Movement for Integration organized a meeting today with the residents of the Berzhite areas. During his speech, the Assembly Speaker and former SMI Chairman, Ilir Meta, praises the role of the Socialist Movement for Integration, considering it to be a political force that cares about the vital problems of Albanian people into party that strongly supports the youth, declaring, "I think that the Socialist Movement for Integration makes a difference. It is a party that takes care of Albanian citizens' problems. And of course, it is the party of the youth." Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Socialist Movement for Integration, Idrizi, who is also the SMI's candidate in Tehran, said that the SMI has a clear program that is based on fair education and the opening of new jobs, stating, "We have a concrete plan. If we organize education toward jobs, we will reduce unemployment among the youth and we will develop the country's economy. We will maximally invest in vocational education. The SMI will be the first political force to the youth commitment, and thanks to Albanian people's belief in the seriousness of the SMI." Chairman of the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity, Idrizi, has asked for the vote of Elbasan citizens, giving them assurance that the candidates selected to represent the PJIU are the ones to solve people's problems. During his speech, the chairman of the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity said that the PJIU is not like the other parties, which speak of causes during the campaign, but they make pauses when they come into power. The candidates' list of Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity is not made up of people who want to become members of parliament for their interests, but they are people who want to solve problems of the people of Elbasan, declared Mr. Idrizi. The PJIU candidates for members of parliament for the city of Elbasan were also present at the meeting. The prosecution will ask for Germany's expertise in order to find out the cause for the poisoning of 140 Democratic Party supporters who attended the opening of electoral campaign on Saturday. The prosecution is considering the opportunity to send the evidence collected in the square where the DP supporters were poisoned to Germany. Sources within the prosecution say that if the expertise will be conducted in Albania, it will be very expensive, so the prosecution is thinking of sending the samples collected evidence abroad. The state police have referred to the case to the prosecution for investigation into environmental pollution, but the prosecution will investigate the case for the hampering of an electoral subject. The case will now be investigated for the accusation raised by the prosecution. Sources within the prosecution say that another investigational track may be in competition between the companies that organize activities. There are some suspicions that the Democratic Party may have been sabotaged by another company that deals with organizations of such activities. However, the investigative team is waiting for the results of some analyses and some experiments in order to continue the investigation procedure. The poisoning of the 140 Democratic Party supporters and of the Democratic Party chairman occurred in the evening of May 27th after the DP opened its electoral campaign in Tirana. The DP supporters and the DP chairman asked for medical help after noticing signs of poisoning, including eye rashes, irritation of the skin in exposed areas of the face and neck, and in some cases, light breathing difficulties. A few number of them stayed longer in the hospital for further medical assistance, and most of them left the hospital within a short period of time. The Ad Hoc Commission on Vetting held another hearing today with the candidates for members of vetting bodies. 84 candidates listed in the A list from the People's Advocate were heard at the end of the Ad Hoc Vetting Commission. The former Attorney Chief Ilir Rama, the former Chairwoman of the Supreme Court, and General Secretary of Parliament were at the center of attention among the other candidates. After the session and the hearing the Ad Hoc Commission held yesterday, it will now make a decision to draft a list of candidates who will be able to hold another hearing in the other two Ad Hoc Commissions, which will have 30 days to send Parliament the final lists of candidates for the members of vetting bodies. Parliament will then vote on the lists sent by the Ad Hoc Commissions. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Cosmo K, and on behalf of Our News, thank you and good night.